Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a very non-bingo-y rack. Is it bad enough to change? Well, the problem tiles are the three last ones here. And I certainly would be looking to get rid of two of them, but can I get rid of all three? Well, not sure I can. I do have Toonie on my rack. So I can get rid of U and Y. YU itself is good. But what about getting rid of both Ys? Tricky. So what if opponent changes? Do I change? If I got rid of UYY, cent is a pretty good four-letter set. Okay, that's not going to happen. So I could play century through the R, clearing out everything apart from one Y. I think a better play would be yay, retaining the first phi, which is quite a balanced set. The N helps the U. But can I do even better? Well, I quite like this as it interferes with opponent using the double-double. It provides very little. And this rack leave is good, so I'm going with this. Well, I duplicate the N, I draw an M. So I'm not bingoing with this rack, I don't think. Although the O looks useful with con and com. I've got the ment ending with CUN. If an N were an M, I would have cementum. Orate takes a B and an L in front and a D and an S after. So how to sort this rack out? Well, I guess playing MUN would achieve that. But can I do that and score well? Yay only takes an S after it. So the R is available as a floater, just about. Not seeing anything with it, or with the T. So slim pickings on this board, but that was partly the aim with playing YAY. I didn't have a great rack leave, so I wanted to limit opportunities for my opponent zooming off. And look at this, he leads by just 3. So I have had time to sort my rack out. Great, just 12 points, fantastic. So I can play Munt here for 15. Can I do any better? No, I don't think so, and this again gives very little away. Oh wow, slightly too many vowels here. Or is it? Well, I'm not seeing a 7, and there's just the M as a floater, which looks like it goes well with this rack, but does it? I'm expecting opponent to block it, but it's currently available. No, not seeing anything through that. OYE takes R, S, and Z. Wow, and I still don't have a hook for either end of orate. Torn is good. So I could play, for example, tiny in that spot, although that is going to leave a vowel-heavy rack. I think I would have actini E through an A. Not seeing anything through E. What about O? No, not seeing anything there. Tor takes nothing in front. So this is a grim, low-scoring start to the game. 24 points each. But I think that reflects the fact that I had a poor opening rack, and therefore I have been playing moves to dampen volatility to prevent opponent from scoring well while I'm getting my rack in order. This is one of the hardest racks to deal with. It's close to a bingo, but it's not a bingo. So to what extent do you trash it? Well, just tricky. I do have acetin in column 8 for 30 or 27. That's pretty good. Opponent takes that out. Loom takes B and G and S in front. So I can trash the rack. I can play acetin and ammo. 27 points. Is that the play? Oh, well, why not play an anagram of that? Sentai. Yeah, all of that looks good, and it's 34 points. Okay, this looks a bit more promising. I've got the J for score, and whatever's left is going to be bingo-y. So if I play Judd, I'll have sight. I have Jedi in column 8. Oh, wow, 68 for opponent and a non-bingo. Nice play. Do I have a bingo with this rack? I have the out prefix. I think J and U crush the bingo prospects. And I and F don't look like great floaters. So what about Jedi? I absolutely need to play off the J. But is there somewhere for Judd? And wow, does Squiff take an S? It may only take a Y. But if it took an S, well, I'm not seeing a J something something S play. So I'm not seeing anywhere on this board for Judd. Well, there is here for 15, but there's 36 on offer. In column 8, I'm minded to play here. The E versus the U isn't worth 20 points. So Jedi for 36. And I draw another scoring tile in the Z. So if the U were an E, I would not have had a bingo. Oh yes is good. But I don't have a 5 or longer word ending ZE. I would have Dzouris through an R. I'm going to struggle to play the Z with the U. But a play of Tsar somewhere would leave a decent rack leave. Wow, neither the J nor the Z are suitable for parallel plays to Squiff. Yay takes an S. Well, I'm struggling to see anywhere for ZA. Ducks takes nothing. So, wow, I trail by about 40. I was pleased to see the Z. I'm less pleased now. So, I have Zit and Elt for 34, leaving a pretty horrendous rack leave. But one is always willing to have a horrible rack leave if there are enough points on offer. Fizz is good, but that's only 25. Astonishing that there's nowhere for ZA, but I don't think there is. Wow, if I had a U, I would have Deutzia. So a ZU play certainly would be best, but I'm not seeing one. 15 minutes on my clock. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Zit. Horrible, horrible rack leave. I could play Zits. Well, I don't think Squiffs is good. Zit for 35. Wow, that's a fairly kind pickup. It could have been a lot worse. It's actually fairly close to a bingo, which I wasn't expecting. However, there may not be a bingo here, in which case I'll be struggling to score, and I trail, fortunately, by only 10 points. Not many floaters on this board. And I'm not seeing a 7 with this rack. If there were a 7, it would probably play, because road J is a lane for a bingo ending in S. So I think adulates is good, but I can't put an A in front of Amu, and I don't think adulates has an anagram. So how to sort this rack out? Well, it really is time to get rid of the U, I think. So I could play, wow, AUF, setting up a super hot double-double lane. And A doesn't take an S in front, so I don't think that's a great idea. $20 for opponent, leads by 30. Way takes an S in front. Wow, just tricky, tricky, tricky racks. If I play just AU, the rack leave of least is super strong. I'm just reluctant to play Alf in that spot. Well, what I can do is play it down here, providing very little and scoring very little. But look at this rack leave. Surely I'm going to be bingoing next turn. Let's find out. Yes, I think so. I have Elenets, which plays in row N, and it plays in row J because out is good and Tor takes an S. So I think I'm bingoing. I have Elenets, I have Leanest. Just wondering if I have an anagram which puts the S under yay. That would be a big score. But I think it's just Elenets and Leanest. What about the D? Not seeing anything there. How about the Z? No. I? No. L? That would be pretty amazing. But I'm not seeing anything. And Leanest plays in row L because of tar. So I think I will be playing a bingo somewhere. But at the moment, my preferred spot is Elenets in row J. Close to, well, jet planes is no longer good. It used to be. I need a P instead of the S for that. Yes, jet planes is one of those strange words which was good and appears to have been taken out of the dictionary for almost no good reason. Fortunately, that doesn't happen very often. Now, opponent taking a while with this move. It's the beginning of the month, just about, so a brand new video available on Patreon for all patrons of the channel. Every month a brand new 5-minute game goes up exclusively for patrons, and I'd like to thank all patrons for their support of this channel. It wouldn't survive without you. And welcome especially to the new patrons this month. Now, that normally prompts opponent to play in the middle of that spiel, but it hasn't happened this turn. So what is opponent got? Does he have a blank or both blanks? I think if I'd played one square higher up, opponent would probably have had a lot of easy options. Now, opponent has played unwet for 16. He looks like he had the awful WU combo. So I have Elenets here for 70. Oh wow, 6 vowels. I did not deserve that. No scoring tiles. Wretched, wretched. Draw. And tricky to sort out because I'd like to play off A and 2 O's. I've blocked the Zooia spot, which I would have been unlikely to play anyway. Oaf doesn't work. I may be changing here because the S is good, the E is good, and pretty much everything else is junk. Still 3 A's to come, so I think I'll chuck back the A's as well. And I have a slender lead. Ducks doesn't take anything after it. I should have mentioned in respect to Patreons, not only are you supporting the channel and getting an exclusive video every month, but there's also the opportunity to be my opponent on the main channel. That's purely optional. You don't have to be my opponent, and I know some choose not to be. So 14 minutes on my clock, 9 on opponents. Wow, opponent is taking a lot of time on his moves. So is changing really the best I can do with this rack? I could play Jow, but it's not a great score. It's not a great rack lead. Plus, it's setting up a hot spot for opponent. So I'm not minded to do that. One of my O's would sit nicely between F and U, but I've got to do more than that in terms of addressing the problems of this rack. So I am minded to change, and with 2 blanks to come, changing 5 tiles and drawing a blank could have a massive impact on the game. Great, only 18 points for opponent. So do I play Uri? 14 points, keeping double AS. Wow. That is tempting. 4 R's to come. Uri takes an R. It's tempting, but I'm going to change. And not only is it tempting just as an alternative purely on score and rack lead, but opponent has set up quite a hot spot in row B. However, I think for reasons stated, I'm going with this. Well, not great, but not terrible either. Well, do I have Hoagies? In which case it is really good, because Hoagies would play in row N. I think I do. I think that's good. Not seeing anything else. If opponent blocks that, do I have a... Well, this is the danger I was thinking about playing Uri to avoid. However, if Hoagies is good, this will work out fine. So do I play it here or 1 square further along? And is there anywhere else? Well, it certainly doesn't play in row K, but I can play this 1 further along. Yeah, and I think I do need to get the H tripled. It's just a much bigger score. 75 points. I am putting an A rather than a G above this triple word square, so I am going to be giving stuff back. But I'm going with this. And I draw one of the blanks. Fantastic. And this is a pretty good set of 7 random tiles. With the blank as an M, I have Medigap, which alas does not play in row L, or indeed anywhere else. But such a good looking rack. Ah, it does play in row M, making R and Po. That could well be blocked by opponent, but I'll keep an eye on that. But if I have an ing play, that would play in row L. But I don't. Let me have a quick squiz, looking for sevens. Not seeing anything so far. Gosh, that looks handy. That's Medigap. And I'm just wondering if that has an anagram possibly impaged, which would play in row L. But it might be just Medigap. I thought opponent may have played then, he hasn't. I don't think graped is good. I think grape is a noun. Could be wrong. Not seeing anything else. So what about this E? Do I have something ending AGE? Nope, not that I can see. J doesn't look useful. So, opponent has blocked Medigap. Most annoying. Did I have a play in row L? I have a feeling I did have an alternative bingo. The chord has taken out the L, so there's still the E in third place. Let me try impaged. I don't think this is good. Nope. So I don't think Medigap has an anagram. Did I identify an alternative bingo? So wretched if I did, and I don't now play it. I do have a lead, but look at this, only 14 points. I have 11 minutes on the clock, which is good. So I do have some thinking time. What goes in front of AED does so. I have ED ending words. Maybe it was just in the possibility of impaged I considered. G, ING, couldn't see any of those. H, M, N, S, T, W, Y. Okay, so no. Couple of floating E's. So often an E is the floater that you would love to see, and I've got 2 on this board. Not seeing anything. So what to do? Oh, I thought I had paged, but I don't. I feel I need to try and outscore opponents. The remaining pool not massively bingo-y, so I don't want to fish around trying to get my own bingo and miss out when an alternative route is just outscoring opponent. And this double letter square under the A looks dangerous. I am taking out this really, really good row L bingo. Only 20 points, leaving a rubbish Rackley with 4 eyes to come. Must be able to do better than that. I think I'm going to go for the bingo. What about playing Gad here? Opponent will be tempted to play in column 1. He won't score very much. I'm getting 23 points. I'm keeping row L available. There's row B as well. I am taking out this E, but there are 2 lanes. Is this the right play? I think it is. I am going with this. Not a good pick at all. So I've now got 3 scoring tiles. I could play Vape through the A. I'm going to be in trouble if opponent bingos because I can't sort this rack out in 1, which is the primary thing you need to do. Only 1 E to come, so this E is precious. Which rules out Vape. I've got Vi. PH do have some synergy. Oh, wow, brutal, absolutely brutal. And now I pretty much do need a bingo. I trail by 50. Wow. Gosh. Okay. Well, opponent would have bingoed anyway. He would have had the same word in row B with the blank as a G. But back to my rack, 8 minutes on my clock, 7 tiles in the bag. There's row L as a really good bingo lane. There's row B as a good bingo lane. I have the final S or blank. Only 7 tiles left, so I need to play slowly. If I played off just the V, I would have a decent 6-letter set. Can I do that? And I don't want to block row L. Or indeed any other lane. 7 minutes on my clock. Vor is good, V is good. There must be, well, this does block 1 bingo lane. 3 I's to come. It would be nice to play off the I. So I can do this, taking out a lane. There's still row L. Well, rather than doing that, why not play the same tiles here, leaving row B alone? Only 6 points, but I think a bingo would leave me in with a good shout. I am going with... Am I? Just wondering about playing Whip. 6 minutes on my clock. If I played Whip, I would have A, V, E blank. Well, that's not a great bingo lane. S would have to be in precisely 4th position. Only 18 points. But would opponent panic and get a very low score around this? If I play Whip with all these I's and R's to come, I could use the blank as an S and play Visor for 45 points. And look at this, if opponents... What's opponent going to do? I think I am going to go with this. If I draw an R, that goes well with this rack. Let me count the remaining vowels. 7 out of 14. What was the alternative? Van. Yeah, I am going with Whip because Van just invites a high-scoring row K play, which takes out row L. So I'm going with this. Gosh. I have verbiage in row B. Oh, wow. I was just about to moan about B, G and V, but I have verbiage. Now surely opponent's going to prioritise row L, row K, and column 15 above row B. Wow. So, what if he does the unthinkable and blocks row B? Look at this, no scoring tiles left, all 1-pointers. So if I get my bingo down, I think I'll be in a strong position. But do I have a row L bingo? With the black, I don't think I have an ING play. Behaving with an H or an N. Fantastic. Well, opponent doesn't even block row L. One tile in the bag. And I have verbiage for 80. And I take a 30-point lead. Opponent's got Roria on his rack. Phew, I was just thinking that might go down in row L, but RAE not good. So I don't think opponent can play Roria. And in which case I've got the N. Can I go out in two places? NE? NE, yes I can. Wow. And opponent's also got Arriero. Phew, which also doesn't play in row L. And hopefully nowhere else. Yeah, row M not available. Well, if opponent bingos, he wins, and well done if he finds one. However, as it stands, I'm leading, and I don't think anything other than a bingo is going to suffice for opponent. Where's my highest scoring N spot? 2, 2, 2. Two, 3. Wow. 4. Good grief. Heady stuff. Oh wow, 5, 6, 7, 14 points for Kin. Yeah, and nothing's going to beat that. So Kin is my play, should it remain available. And if it doesn't, I have Anne for 4. Wow, amazing getting verbiage down. V, B and G are such unlikely bedfellows in a bingo. Two minutes on opponent's clock, 4 on mine. Opponent trails by 30, which is a slim margin, but at this stage of the game and with this board, I think that's a bit of a chasm for opponent. And he's in the agonising position of having bingos on his rack and nowhere to play them. Just looking around for any possible floaters or lanes for opponents, but I don't think there are any. And opponent plays over for 24, no new N spots, so I have Kin for 14. And the final score, 395 for opponent, 423 for me, a winning margin of 28 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. And it all turned on that final bingo of verbiage. So, opponent to go first plays Orate. And I play Yay here. Cutty available, E11. Yeah, keeping Yen. Probably worth doing. That gives not very much away, although a Y next to a triple letter square can be punished because K, B and F all go there. But I could have played just one square higher up, CUTTY, and avoided that. So I think Cutty would have been better. Opponent plays Oi. Now what do? I play Munt for 15 and Corm F9. Oh, coming down, C-O-R-M, interesting. Oh, well, I don't like the rack lever of duplicate N, so I'm happy with my play. Opponent plays Loom, and I have Sentai for 34, which I like. Grim looking rack for opponent, but when you look more closely, there is a fantastic play of Squiff for 68, so I trail. And I play Jedi for 36, which looks fine. Opponent has Ducks for 27. And wow, J6, where's this? Zatties and Yays for 48. What do? I play Zit. Oh, well, for 35, yeah, the second place down here. I think Zatties is better because double A is not good, foul preponderance is not good. So this rack leave is slightly better than AU, but not 13 points better. Opponent plays Way. Phew, no missed bingo here. And I play Alpha 6, leaving AELST. And although that's a 14-point sacrifice, it's only a 14-point sacrifice. So J12, DAE is what's being suggested. I still like my play. I'm playing against a lowly ranked opponent, so a good rack cleave and creating lanes captures or isn't captured with it wholly within score and rack cleave. So opponent's rack plays unwet, and now here we go. I have Elenets for 70. Opponent plays Rep, and now I thought about Uri. Yui also available, but I changed. And I lead. Opponent has Verbs, and now here we go with Hoagie's N6, and there was this 8-point difference, and I went for the higher score. Opponent plays Chord, and wow, no bingo here. I really spent a while on this rack and thought that there may well have been. And I played Gad for 23, but A12. Oh, because of prep, I have PAID. Well, that certainly would have been a better play. It's 2/3 of a bingo, but I missed that. And left myself with a good rack leave. 23 compares favourably with everything apart from paid. An absolutely fantastic bingo by opponent here with Nat-like for 89 points. And I am not a favourite now, even though I have the blank, because I have 3 clunky consonants and there's only 7 tiles in the bag. So what do? I play Whip for 18, getting rid of two of the high consonants and creating a sort of deceptive trap, which I thought opponent might be drawn to blocking for a low score. Now, this was opponent's rack. He has Roylia, nowhere for it, plays Oil, and boom, I have Verbiage, but Giveable in the same spot, scores more because the B gets tripled, so 8 points left on the table there. And that was the only bingo lane on the board. No bingo for opponent, plays Over, and finally Kin for 14 is best. So what a game. Scrabble at its finest in terms of drama. It was a fairly close game, and I think the lead switched between us, and Nat-like was a seminal play by opponent. In most games that would have been enough to open up a gap that could be held on to. And I was then faced with only 7 tiles in the bag of what to do with a rack with HP and V on it. I don't know that Whip was the best play, but it's the play that I chose. And it then enabled me with the following rack to play Verbiage, which was enough to overtake my opponent and establish an unassailable lead. So super exciting stuff. Many thanks to opponent for a great battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.